Hello, good evening or morning. I wanted to share with you tonight a transcript of a talk by Swami Vivekananda at the World Parliament of Religions in 1893. It was maybe 10 or so years ago. Hi, Rojo. It was maybe, hi, Joe, 10 or so years ago. One day I was looking at this transcript, and suddenly the date on which he gave this talk at the World Parliament of Religions in Chicago struck me. The date of his talk was September 11th, 1893. Exactly 108 years, 108 years to the day before the World Trade Center came down. And listen to what he said. Now, I have no idea if there's anything to that. I'm not making something out of it. I have to say I don't know. But there's something very auspicious, I guess is the word, about the number 108. And maybe I'll put a link. I collected a bunch of those and wrote an article on 108. I'll put a link to that after this is up. And but it's striking as I read this to you and you take it in. Listen carefully to what he's saying. Hi, Viviana. Listen carefully to what he's saying and note how strikingly appropriate his words are 108 years earlier than this date in 2001. At the World's Parliament of Religions, Chicago, September 11, 1893. I'll try to read this without sort of getting emotional, but I find this extremely touching. Sisters and brothers of America, it fills my heart with joy unspeakable to rise in response to the warm and cordial welcome which you have given us. I thank you in the name of the most ancient order of monks in the world. I thank you in the name of the mother of religions. And I thank you in the name of millions and millions of Hindu people of all classes and sects. My thanks also to some of the speakers on this platform who, referring to the delegates from the Orient, have told you that these men from far-off nations may well claim the honor of bearing to different Many thanks also to some of the speakers on this platform who, referring to the delegates from the Orient, have told you that these men from far-off nations may well claim the honor of bearing to different lands the idea of toleration. I am proud to belong to a religion which has taught the world both tolerance and universal acceptance. We believe not only in universal toleration, but we accept all religions as true. I am proud to belong to a nation which has sheltered the persecuted and the refugees of all religions and all nations of the earth. I am proud to tell you that we have gathered in our bosom the purest remnant of the Israelites who came to southern India and took refuge with us in the very year in which their holy temple was shattered to pieces by Roman tyranny. I am proud to belong to the religion which has sheltered and is still fostering the remnant of the grand Zoroastrian nation. I will quote to you, brethren, a few lines from a hymn which I remember to have repeated from my earliest boyhood, which is every day repeated by millions of human beings. As the different streams, having their sources in different places, all mingle their water in the sea, so, O Lord, the different paths which men take through different tendencies, various though they appear, crooked or straight, all lead to Thee. The present convention, which is one of the most august assemblies ever held, is in itself a vindication, a declaration to the world of the wonderful doctrine preached in the Gita. Whosoever comes to me through whatsoever form, I reach him. All men are struggling through paths which in the end lead to me. Sectarianism, bigotry, and its horrible descendant, fanaticism, have long possessed this beautiful earth. They have filled the earth with violence, drenched it often and often with human blood, destroyed civilization, and sent whole nations to despair. Had it not been for these horrible demons, human society would be far more advanced than it is now. But their time is come. I fervently hope that the bell that tolled this morning in honor of this convention may be the death knell of all fanaticism, of all persecutions with the sword or with the pen, and of all uncharitable feelings between persons wending their way to the same goal. And the story goes that he made that presentation in front of 8,000 people, and this was long before there were strong amplifiers and microphones and all that. And when he started, the story goes, with brothers and my sisters and brothers of America. That's all he got out of his mouth, Swami Vivekananda. And all 8,000 of them stood up and gave him a 3-minute standing ovation, just because of the purity in his voice of the simple words, sisters and brothers of America. Touching, isn't it? And tomorrow, I put on the thing, you saw part 1, I put on there 1. And so tomorrow, it's much shorter, but tomorrow I will read you what he said only 4 days later. No, it's about 2 weeks later, in the final session of the closing of this Parliament of Religions in 1893. It's a little shorter, but it's pretty potent, and so we'll take a look at that tomorrow. I find this that we just did profoundly something, touching to say the least. So, and this man had made quite an impression. Touching indeed, yes, especially today. Yeah, you don't mean literally today, Thursday, you mean today in these times, yes. So, anyway, very, very touching. So, These times, yes. Today, these times, yes. Absolutely. And you would think that we humans would get tired of all of this craziness. It just keeps seeming like we would tire of it. Anyway, so a few of us keep learning to be quiet and still and find the underlying unity that truly is always there underneath all of this diversity and craziness out here. The unity is there, the peace is there, the tranquility is there, always, always, at all times. And so thank you for coming together. See you tomorrow, okay? Om Tat Sat. Remember Om. Om Tat Sat. Okay? Bye-bye. Unconditional love, indeed. Means no conditions. Unconditional. Isn't that striking? Unconditional literally means place no conditions on the love. And there's all sorts of little hearts going across the screen there, and that's kind of fun too. So, good night, good morning, good afternoon in the case of Joe. And so, thank you for coming together. Om Tat Sat.